Today is International Women's Day, and celebrating Women's Day today, I thought that we would do something a little different. Of course, we are respecting, and of course, we look up to many women in different various fields. But right now, in today's world, especially in the world of social media, how important it is, how crucial, and in fact, sometimes brutal social media can be. And so today, I have here with me Imli Kokla Jamir. Now, she is handling the social media, managing the social media for Red Scars FC, that is the Red Scars Football Club, that is playing at the Nagaland Super League. Now, they have been advancing very, very popularly in social media as well. And of course, it's all credit to her. And we're going to talk to her about the journey of how she landed up this job as handling the social media, and not just social media, but also managing the team in various aspects for a football club. Akok, thank you so much for speaking to us. Firstly, I wanted to ask you, what were you doing before this? You're just 24 and now you're managing. It's a huge task because social media could be quite brutal also, with whatever you put out there. So can you tell us, what were you doing before this and what made you take up this in a football club?
I started working at the age of 19, and by that time it was the end of the pandemic, and that was when Kaki Marketing came up. Okay. And I'm very lucky to have been working there for about 2 years. And I was actually studying and working at the same time, not knowing that I would be actually interested in marketing. But then as over the years, it kind of developed as a hobby and also something that I wanted to pursue for the longer run. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I was in Kaki for like about 2 years, then joined another firm called Digital 112 for about a year and a half. And I took a break because I wanted to take up my bachelor's again in business administration. Because when it comes to marketing in Nagaland, it's really important to actually have some knowledge about business. I think it's really important to have an opinion on the table from where you're coming from. Yeah. When you have a strategy and all the plans for a campaign or anything, right? So I took about 8 months break because it was, some things were just too much because like you said, sometimes social media can be as brutal. But at the same time, starting off as a social media manager and then now as digital marketing strategist, I've come a long way realizing that I feel like it takes a whole lot of experience throughout the journey to actually decide on where you want to be. And I think this is what I decided to be as to continue in this field.
So now you were working in marketing and advertising prior to this. Of course, it's very correlated, social media as well. It's very correlated to advertising and marketing. Now, especially for a sports club or let alone a football club. Now, it is quite challenging, I'm sure. And this NSL has been going on for a very long time now, a few weeks, and is still yet to continue for a few more weeks as well. So how has it been so far managing the social media? And of course, there's recently the team also received some slack on social media. Again, I read. Now, I am not sure how true it is again, on social media, all these things are happening. How do you manage that? How do you handle the pressure?
I think in this matter, emotional intelligence is very important. That's something that we always tell the players, all 30 of them. Managing the football club has been quite a journey for me as well because, of course, I have worked for NOA when I was working for Kaki and all that, but now being very involved with the team and with the management, something quite new for me as well. This is a very new thing for of course, social media has been there from before, but then it's a very new thing for people who are actually wanting to represent themselves, right? So one important thing that we had and that we mentioned during the marketing strategy for the whole football club was to actually be active and to be present in what's happening around them and also regarding the league and all that. Because a lot of people, of course, they play for the clubs, but they don't know how to promote themselves. Correct. And that's really important for all the players. Yeah, and that's something that we started off as when we started the strategy. And I think so far, even without when we even started the page, of course we have only about 1,400, 500 followers, but that's not important. Numbers does not matter at the end of the day. It's the views that comes in. It's how people are interacting with our Hawks, and we call ourselves at the Hawks because, So I think we got a poster regarding that whole thing. So in about just having like 1,500 followers, we got about like 1 million views for in the past 30 days, and that's like a really big achievement for the club, because being involved in the management team and also being the head coordinator for the media, I've always been following the boys, during the practice and even off practice, off field, in field, and like updating and like putting up on the stories is more important than just putting up posters, because people are actually wanting to see what's happening next, right? And that's something that I have learned over the past, like from my past experiences, what I've done for a lot of clients and for the firms that I've worked for, like updating and actually just being consistent is very important. And that's something that a lot of people don't follow when it comes to social media. Of course, when you are consistent in what you're doing, even if there are like so many people like brutally like spamming on your social media and all that, there is a reason for you to like kind of ignore, because you're doing what you're doing and it's going as it's going.
If I'm not mistaken, you were also, when you were with Kaki, you were very popular in social media at one point, because you all used to do this little vlogs and in the office and all that, and you became quite popular. And now, being so in the social media management team for the football team, do you think there's a fine line between going too overboard with some certain fame as well? Even for the boys, the team right now, I mean, a player scores maybe a hat trick, and then it gets blown up on social media. And do you want that kind of attention also for such players, like this done up, so that sometimes you need to be grounded? Does this come up with the job also, to tell them to be grounded, to encourage them that you should not go overboard with certain things?
There are actually two personas to that. One is like you representing yourself on that platform, and you physically being someone else, and that's really important. Which is like, as loud as you can be on social media, that doesn't mean as loud as you can be physically or like vocally, And after we came up with the page, and after we started started with the strategy and all that, we did not kind of like sell the football club in a way where we started like posting eventually, like after the league started. But we were kind of like waiting for the moment to like actually talk about like, okay, what did we do so far? In a sense, I think in the first 3-4 matches, like the first match we lost against Sechuzubza, but the other matches were all draw. And it was nothing to boast about. It was nothing to show. But yet, the only thing that we wanted to give importance in was to actually show the journey of a club, show the journey of the players during the league, because of course this is the first season for Naga NSL, and it's something new for also the Naga players, and also the fact that we have 3 guest players from Manipur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so connecting different tribes and connecting different communities actually taught us a lot all throughout the journey, because that was the only thing that we wanted to show and showcase on the social media platform. It was just not about the loss, and it was just not, and of course it definitely is about the win, but I think what's more important is the journey and the consistency of the players, and how we are helping them build themselves, not just them physically being an athlete, but about them wanting to promote themselves and using the platform in a better way. Yeah.
Not just as an athlete, but as a human being, right? Yeah. Now, being Women's Day, I would really like to ask you this also. Have you faced any sexism in your workplace, being so young, 24, and now you started when you were 19 and in various other companies and agencies, and now being in amongst men most of the time right now? Have you faced any sexism or any biasness, I would say, or something that you thought was not fair? You don't have to name them or who has treated you a certain way, but what have you faced? Can you give us, if so, did you face any, and can you just tell us about it?
Starting off working at the very young age, I feel like I was blessed. I was blessed to be working with my own cousin brother, because he owns Kaki Marketing, and the fact that I had colleagues who were all boys and I was the only girl. Yeah. But I was always treated as like the little sister. But over the years, as I started jumping off to different firms and different agencies and stuff, of course, I did face biased situations and all that where I felt really uncomfortable. But I'm grateful for the experiences that I had over the years. Now, I mean, over the years, in this past 6 years, I've actually developed myself to actually take constructive criticisms, and that's really important when you're basically in a workspace where it involves a lot of people, where you get to talk to a lot of people, where you get to explain yourself and give an opinion about what you think it's right. And sometimes, of course, in this kind of situations, of course, people did disagree with me and all that, but I feel like it's just a part of your work, and just just not to take anything personally. Yeah.
Now, coming back to social media, like earlier when I was introducing you, I had said that it's quite brutal and cruel, and you face the brunt of it, and then sometimes it really damages someone's emotional, mental state, you know. So, being in a social media management now, being into it, and how do you approach these kind of bullies or these kind of comments that are negative and not good for someone's well-being? How do you think someone should approach?
I think it's just important not to respond to anything and entertain to anything. And just go about with your day. And it's really important to surround yourself with people that actually supports you, that actually encourages you, that actually has that that matured mental state of like teaching you what you should actually focus on, you know. And yeah, I think I've done that over the years, and that's the only encouragement that I can give.
That's true. I mean, we all face criticism and some negative comments. Same here, you know, being in the news and everything, we do face all of that. And I completely understand when you say not to respond is the best response, right? I think that is the best thing that we all should learn in this today's world of social media. When someone is bullying, cyberbullying, or being nasty and all, you should just not respond. Yeah, that's a very good, very simple yet effective, I think, point that you have pointed out. So. Now, coming back to football, how did you get into this? Can you just tell us a little bit about this football team? Social media could be for a lot of different various aspects, but why? How did it start with this football team?
When I was working in the previous firms, I did work for a couple of sports meet and all that, like being involved with Olympics and South Asian games and all that. So Southeast Asian Games, yeah, sorry. And my friend is a part of the management team for this club, and that's how I got approached to be a part of it.
To handle their social media?
Yeah, to handle their social media and all that, so yeah.
What's the most challenging part about this job that you have right now in this football, for this football team? What is the most challenge that you face?
I think the most challenging thing would be to keep up with the boys. Yeah, because you're dealing with a bunch of individuals, and to actually make a calendar and to make a routine and to follow up, execution becomes the problem at the end of the day. But then I am grateful that the boys have been, cooperating, and they've been really fun all throughout this time till today. And yeah, just that.
All right. So I'll just ask you a last question. What is your favorite memory right now in this whole NSL, the league? What is your favorite football memory that has happened for your team and yourself, and in terms of social media also, that you could have put it up for the team and said, this is really good to put up?
I think the special memory about this whole journey with the club would be the birthdays that we would have every month, because I think even last month we celebrated about 4 birthdays, and we had picnics and all that, and that kind of events kind of got all the club members and the players together. That's where we started having our prayer sessions, and engagements between the players became really became close, and people started the players started getting vulnerable with each other and all that. And I feel like that's really important when you are in a big set of group. And that would be something that will always remind me of the club and the journey.
So now, lastly, I mean, one of the most important question I want to ask is, a woman in social media, that too at such a young age, and now where is it going to go from here for you? You're managing this team, sports team, football team. Where do you want this to go for you? And is there anything you would like to tell your peers or younger than you who wants to manage like in this social media field or anything like that and the likes?
Social media was something that I was not interested in before, but then now having to use it in my daily life has actually influenced a lot of things and also helped a lot of people, even through a poster or anything. And I can never take that for granted. I feel like my social media platform was there and it kind of grew when I started Kaki. And when I started vlogging, that's when I started getting a lot of fans, and I'm so grateful for all of them. But
Would you take this forward?
I will take this forward, and
You have a long way to go.
yeah, I will take this forward, and whatever my plans are in the future, I'll make sure that I continue to, I continue to do what I'm doing at the moment. Yeah, positively, and use it in a better way. And to encourage my peers and the people that actually wants to be in this field, all I can say is be consistent. There will be times when you would want to give up, since there are a lot of competition now, because we started off during the pandemic when a lot of people didn't have marketing firms, marketing companies and all that. But the only thing that I can say is plain and simple: be consistent, keep hard to what you do, and don't take anything personal. That's the only thing, yeah.
That was Imli Kokla Jameer. Now she is managing social media for the Red Scars FC. That is the Red Scars football club that is playing at the Nagaland Super League right now. Now they've been advancing to the end stage of the games right now. There's a few more games to be played, and then we will just wish them all the best. But also when it comes to social media, just like she said, it is right now the most important aspect of any agency, firm or business or sporting club or any sports team. It is one of the most important aspects that you need to have as well in today's world, social media, and how crucial it is. And she's a vivacious 24-year-old who has just told us about her experience since she was 19, and being today Women's Day, I wish her all the best, and I hope that Red Scars also, advance way ahead and in fact lift up the trophy, right? So Esther here with camera person Tamjan for Nagaland News Network.